Today, we're going to tackle a really foundational question. Why do we even need something called Islamic economics? I mean, economics is taught in universities like it's a neutral, objective science, right? Kind of like physics or chemistry. But is it really? In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden worldview that's baked into conventional economics, and you'll see why, for a Muslim, it's not just about crunching numbers. So let's get right to the heart of it. Think about it. Whether you're a student, an entrepreneur, or a policymaker, why can't you just grab a standard econ textbook and run with it? Seems simple enough. But the problem isn't really with the charts or the formulas themselves, it's with what's lurking underneath. Okay, so let's unpack this idea. The famous economist Joseph Schumpeter, he argued that any science, before it even gets started, is preceded by what he called a vision. You can think of it like the operating system on your computer. Before you can run any app, you need that OS setting the basic rules, right? Well, this vision, this worldview, is the foundation that shapes absolutely everything that comes after. The questions we think are important, the assumptions we take for granted, and the goals we're trying to achieve.
Now, this feeling, this dissatisfaction with the standard model, it wasn't just some vague idea floating around. It actually reached a boiling point and sparked a huge, formal, scholarly movement. So let's go back to the moment this discipline was really born.
The year is 1976. A landmark event takes place in Makkah. For the very first time, Muslim economists, jurists, and scholars all get together in one room. There was this growing sense that the development models they were borrowing from the West just weren't working, that Muslims needed to find their own solutions to their economic problems, solutions that were rooted in their own tradition. And that conference, right there, that was the birth of Islamic economics as a formal discipline. So what exactly was this vision in conventional economics that these scholars found so incompatible? To get that, we need to put a name to the worldview it's built on: secularism. You know, secularism is an ideology that basically privatizes religion. It says, hey, your faith is a personal thing between you and God. Keep it out of public life. So it shouldn't touch politics, it shouldn't touch law, and it most definitely shouldn't touch economics. The state stays out of your religion, and your religion stays out of the state. What's really fascinating is how this worldview even came to be in the West. It wasn't overnight. It was a long historical process with three major philosophical shifts. First, the disenchantment of nature, where nature suddenly lost its spiritual meaning and just became stuff, an object. Second, the desacralization of politics, where authority was yanked away from God and handed over to man. And finally, the deconsecration of values, where morals and ethics became relative, man-made things, not something revealed by the divine. So what kind of economic vision does a worldview like that create? Let's break it down. First, it gives us the rational economic man, this idea that a human being is fundamentally self-interested, maybe even selfish, just driven to maximize his own material gain. Then the universe is seen not as this amazing, sacred creation, but as an object, just full of resources to be exploited for that gain. And the ultimate goal in life? Well, it's materialism. The whole point becomes accumulating wealth. That's how you measure success. That's how you measure happiness. Okay, now let's flip the coin and look at the Islamic worldview. And listen, this isn't just about adding a few rules here and there. We're talking about a completely different operating system. One that's rooted in the concept of Islam as al-Din. See, in Islam, the word religion just doesn't cut it. Al-Din means a complete, all-encompassing way of life. It covers everything. Our personal worship, sure, but also our family life, our politics, and, you guessed it, our economics. There's no separation. Every single action, including buying and selling, is part of our submission to God. And this slide right here, this is where you really see the clash. Instead of that one-dimensional, rational economic man, Islam sees human beings as having this profound dual role. First, we are abd, servants of Allah, which means all our actions are bound by His will. But at the same time, we are also khalifa, or vicegerents, basically caretakers entrusted to manage the earth on His behalf. It's not one or the other. You have to be both, all the time. And because of this dual role, our entire relationship with the universe, it just shifts. It's no longer an object to be conquered or used up for whatever we want. Instead, the world and everything in it is an amana, a sacred trust from God. Our job as Khalifa is to manage that trust responsibly, knowing that we are fully accountable to the one who actually owns it all. So finally, what's the end game? What's the point of it all? While the secular vision points you toward materialism and hedonism, chasing wealth and pleasure, the Islamic vision has a much bigger, much deeper goal: al-falah. Now, this isn't just about being successful in this world. Al-falah is true, holistic well-being. It's ultimate success, not just in this life, but more importantly, in the hereafter. Having money and resources, that's just a tool to help you get to that greater purpose. It's not the goal itself. So you see, we've got two fundamentally different visions of reality. One where man is the center of the universe, and one where God is. There is no way these two starting points can lead to the same science of economics. It's just not possible.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. The economist Robert Heilbroner said it himself. All economic analysis, he argued, operates within an ideology. This whole idea of a perfectly neutral or value-free economics, it's a myth. The real question isn't if your economics has a vision, it's what vision is it?
So the crucial point is this. Let's just walk through the logic one more time. Step 1, every science is built on a vision. Step 2, conventional economics is built on a secular vision that kicks religion out of public life. Step 3, the Islamic worldview of al-Din says, nope, there is no separation. So the conclusion is totally inevitable. If you want intellectual and spiritual coherence as a Muslim, you need an economic science that's actually built on the foundations of the Islamic worldview.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. We've just unveiled the hidden worldview behind economics. But what about all the other fields we just assume are neutral? What other unseen visions are shaping our society, our values, and our lives without us even realizing it? See you in the next one. Subscribe, like, and comment.